Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of our online participants in your respective time zones. Thanks for being here and for participating in this session, during which a very interesting partnership between the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, and WorldSkills will be announced. My name is Virpi Stucki. I'm a business partnership officer at UNIDO, and I have the honor to facilitate today's session. Let me start by introducing you to our speakers. First, Mr. Alexander Amiri, who is the Director of Sponsorship and Partnership and a member of the management team of WorldSkills International, as well as Dejene Tezera, who is the Director of Agri-business Department at UNIDO. These two organizations, in addition to co-hosting this year's LKDF Forum, has decided to take the partnership to the highest institutional level when WorldSkills invited UNIDO to join their conference coalition. May I ask Mr. Amiri to tell us more about this conference coalition, and why did you choose to invite UNIDO to join it? Over to you, Mr. Amiri.
Thank you very much. A very warm welcome and hello to everyone here in that live session from UNIDO, from WorldSkills International. Let me start by saying that WorldSkills International is very pleased and humbled to be partnering with UNIDO, with such a great big size, international, well-known, recognized organization, and also very pleased to be part of this online meeting today. Thank you very much for the introduction, Virpi, as well as the introduction of our conference coalition. Let me give like a 1-minute background on that. WorldSkills International, we are an international global organization with currently 85 member countries. And we are the only one in the world who is running skills competitions, vocational education and training, skills-based competitions, apprenticeship programs, skills-based competitions, every 2 years somewhere on the globe within one of our member countries. And a few years back, actually, when we already organized and co-organized a conference program in Leipzig in 2013 together with UNIDO. This is where all the conversations in earlier stages actually started on the conference. We were told by representatives of UNIDO, of the Federal Ministry in Germany, of the European Union, and some other IGO organizations, that we should utilize WorldSkills, the competition happening every 2 years somewhere on the globe, as the vehicle to create a constant debate on vocational education and training, which then ended up becoming the WorldSkills Conference. And I've just mentioned there's a bit of history with UNIDO. Already back in 2013, co-organized a conference. We had other programs that we ran together. UNIDO helped us to actually bring at WorldSkills created pedal-powered water filtration system into refugee camps in Morocco, for example. So we're trying to build something valuable with our great young people and minds at our competitions that have a post-competition life and do something good. And we just continued the conversations. We had participation of UNIDO at the Africa Capacity Building Program, where UNIDO supported a Train the Trainer program from trainers from Liberia and teachers, as well as Morocco as well. So we are just naturally so closely together with what we're aiming to achieve to create a better world, so that it was just logic for us to invite UNIDO to join our constant debate on vocational education and training via our conference program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amiri. It's very interesting to hear this history of our collaboration. Now turning to Mr. Tezera, could you tell us a little bit of what UNIDO is planning to contribute by joining the coalition?
Thank you, Virpi, and thank you, Alexander, for the introduction and for explanation of our partnership. Let me say here in UNIDO, we are very much excited about joining this conference of coalition. This will take our decade-old partnership, as Alexander mentioned, into a different level, into a very high level. As discussed over the last 2 days, the future of skills and jobs is an important and very pressing issue. Joining the WorldSkills Conference Coalition and its members will provide an opportunity for us to exchange experiences on how to prepare our beneficiaries for the future of work, including the green jobs. As we all know, nowadays, all workers have to adapt and to coexist with the increasingly automated machines. And taking this trend into consideration, we have started collaborating with different partners, focusing on data-driven and evidence-based current and future skills demand and supply analysis. To identify the skills and find the best approaches to deliver skills development program, the conference and coalition will definitely be an excellent platform for disseminating and the findings of our work with our partners. In all UNIDO projects and programs, we are interface between the different partners. There's a neutral broker between governments, development partners, and other institutions, and mainly the private sector. This unique position of UNIDO has helped us to be aware of the changing trends and needs of the private sector based on our practical experience on the ground. Taking advantage of this unique position, we developed a global model to engage with our partners in skills development using the comparative advantage of each of our partners. This global program is called PPDP. I think Virpi was involved and have been pioneering this initiative, and LKDF is part of this initiative. The conference coalition will help us again to share our experiences of our PPDP projects, that's the private-public development partnership projects, in all our partners and beneficiaries. We continuously collect and consolidate our best practices from our past and ongoing technical cooperation projects in more than 100 countries around the world. Joining WorldSkills Conference Coalition and its members will allow us to use these best practices, to share these best practices to the wider audience globally.
Thank you, Mr. Tezera and Mr. Amiri, for your insights. It's quite clear that both organizations have an added value to this partnership, and also you have complementarities, which is, of course, the key to a meaningful and successful partnership. Let me take us back to today's agenda. The two organizations, WorldSkills and UNIDO, decided to join forces in organizing a design thinking workshop. This workshop will convene selected experts to talk about green industrial skills with a special focus on countries with emerging economies. I would like to ask both Mr. Tezera and Mr. Amiri, first of all, what is your expectation out of this workshop? And secondly, and most importantly, how are you going to capitalize of the outcomes of these experts that will produce some recommendations in your respective organizations? If I may ask Mr. Amiri to start.
Thank you very much, Virpi. Before I go into the workshop, just one final comment on the WorldSkills Conference Coalition. I think for the audience, it is important to also know and understand that UNIDO is the key player in the industrial development sector, and we have other IGOs on board like UNIDO, UNESCO, UNIVOC, the European Union, the African Union, still growing network there. We are part of the wider group of the interagency group, an informal group there as well, who all contribute to that constant development process. So it is of importance to us, and thank you very much, Dejene and team, to join us now that you are part and help us to develop a meaningful debate conference program topics we need to address globally on vocational education, on skills development, and now going into the workshop, greening skills and skills of the future. So again, thank you for inviting us to the table, for being able to help to facilitate two of our global partners, Lincoln Electric and Stucki, the industrial partners that are coming with us in WorldSkills on a long-term meaning to help us fulfill what we need to fulfill in the skills development sector here as well, are helping to facilitate. And that shows the importance to industry. Industry is the demand. They are creating the jobs. They are the innovators. They are seeking the job force of the future out there. So it is really important to us and also to our global partners to participate, actively engage in such workshops, in such conversations where we talk about greening skills, where we talk about the skills transformation of the current traditional industrial skills into the future skills. And green skills are so important, not just for the industries and the economy, but for our planet and for our youth, for the future. Yeah. So that is why it is so important for us. And if I look at the group that has subscribed to participate now in that workshop, there are so many different, very important stakeholders who have a finger in the pie, if I may say so, in the greening skills development. So I do expect a really, really good outcome in terms of good ideas, innovative, creative ideas. And that then leads me to the second part of your question. Once we have that outcome, we can actually look into, okay, what are the priorities and how can we join up, how can we team up with UNIDO in order to implement and do stuff. WorldSkills is also, like UNIDO, not just about talking about very important topics, but we are also sitting on the practical side. We want to help create a better future through skills.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tezera.
Thank you, Virpi, and thank you, Alexander. I think just to add to what Alexander said, here at UNIDO, we expect that the experts gathering today to discuss how to systematically and continuously identify the skills required for green jobs and also the training and retraining needs. Identifying these needs correctly is a first step to design the upskilling programs, to mobilize support and forge partnership and engage, more importantly, with employees, enterprises, and youth. Of course, this will not be done in 1 hour or 1 day or 2 days of meetings, and this needs a continuous engagement of experts. So we will be engaging with experts in our future expert group meetings to analyze the gaps and the demand of green skills and to inform appropriate solutions. And at the same time, we will try to use this opportunity to design a mechanism to measure the impact of green skills on the environment, on jobs, and economic competitiveness, especially small and medium enterprises, and ultimately to the contribution to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And I'm very hopeful that we will achieve this.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I hope that some of the experts are listening to this because the expectations are definitely high from both organizations. This has been a very fascinating conversation about demand-driven industrial skills development, but also on meaningful partnerships. I would like to thank Dejene Tezera and Alexander Amiri for your thoughts and advice. And I would like to invite the audience to use the last day of the LKDF Forum and the platform to network, to organize informal discussions, and to visit the expo area, because you can find a lot of interesting examples, projects, organizations, business sector entities who are showcasing their work. For the experts who will be joining the design workshop, you know who you are because you have received an invitation. And I would like to ask you to join the link that was shared with you at 1 p.m. Central European Time. And for the rest of the audience, we will be sharing the outcomes of the design thinking workshop in the coming days. Thank you for the audience for being here. I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.